I need to get past the guilt of like spent money on it. Don't want to get rid of it. Hi everybody, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse, and welcome to part 3/shelf 3 of my bookshelf unhaul project. So if you watched the first 2 videos, then you will know I am trying to make space for 40 books, which is a combination of like 3 months worth of books that I picked up, 4 months worth of books. So pre-orders, new releases, books I just picked up, books that were gifted to me from publishers, and a giant explosion at Thriller Fest. So I did the first 2 shelves. I have 9 books so far that are going to find wonderful new places to live, and we're, just going to continue the mission. So in all fairness, because I feel like this doesn't feel like a really big success at this point, there's technically 10 shelves here. The bottom shelf on this side has a printer on it, but 5 books a shelf, more than that gets me 50. So 40 minimum. We're going to see how far we can go. But let's get into shelf number 3 today and see what kind of progress we can make. So if this is the first video you are watching, rules of the road are, there are no rules of the road. I'm trying to go on instinct. I'm trying to be ruthless. We'll see what happens. So I am not reorganizing at this stage. So I am also like a little bit optimistic that when I do a second view, I might feel a little bit different about a couple of books. But all right, we're here for this shelf. So this is such a cheat. So I recently read The Ghostwriter by Julie Clark. I am absolutely keeping this book. It's actually over there waiting to be filmed in a review video. So I'm just gonna pop that over there. So I will say one of the things I would like to do when I reorganize is group by author. So these are all my Samantha Downing books. I have read 3 of the 4. I've been saving For Your Own Good. Saving is not the right word, but it's a dark academia. Every year I say I'm going to read it this year. This year might be my year, but she is one of my favorite authors. I am keeping all of her stuff. So we've got these. Good Rich People by Eliza Jane Brazier. I talked about her in part 2. I have a few of her books. I really enjoy her theoretically. I haven't read any of them. I enjoy her in theory, but I like the type of book she writes. I think this is like kind of unhinged. It works for me. 12 Secrets. This is a book that, oh my God, the peel between the books. I bought this kind of on a whim. This was like a Blackwell's, or it might even be a book depository purchase when it still existed. We've got an older brother murdered by 2 classmates. 20 years later, he's an investigative journalist. I mean, these are, as we've learned in the first 2 parts of this, I have some buzzwords, I have some things that work for me. And this one just caught my eye and sounds really good, so I'm not going to get rid of it yet. But past and present mysteries, nobody is as they seem, everybody has something to hide. Done. Okay. Evelyn Hugo, I have the special edition of this one as well, and maybe your average person would get rid of one of the editions, but I'm not your average person. This one is dog-eared, all over the place. And this was the first one of her books I read, and I absolutely loved it. I've read it a couple of times, and there's no way I'm getting rid of it. So if you guys have been here for half a minute, you know I own duplicates of a lot of books that I love. No judgment. All right, Greenwich Park by Catherine Faulkner. I have been talking about how I need to read this book, so I'm going to. How to Kill Your Best Friend by Lexi Elliott. Ditto. Keep talking about needing to read it. Need to read it. Not getting rid of it. And then Sharon Bolton. So in episode 2, I did part with a Sharon Bolton book. I don't want to get rid of this one. This is like a serial killer on death row, I want to say. And defense attorney, true crime writer. Why is everything sticking together? Oh, this used to be a library book, so that's why they're sticky on the inside. I was like, why is everything sticking to everything? There's a doctor who's a convicted serial killer. I've heard great things about this. I just need to start reading these books. All right, The Verifiers by Jane Peck. This has also been on my must-read for a long time. So we've got like a dating app on this one, and I feel like it's an online dating detective agency full of secrets. Keeping it. The Lookalike by Erica Spindler. What do we have here? Sienna Scott grew up in the dark shadow of her mother's paranoid delusions. Now she returned home to confront her past and the unsolved murder that altered the course of her life. Past and present. Oh, she was the target in the past. Now he's coming back for more. All right, I'm going to look into this one. It takes place in Wisconsin. I'm going to do a little research on this one. I need a research pile. I'm going to put my research pile over here. In the first video, I put keep books over there, and then I forgot about them for a minute, so anyway. Okay, and then 9 Perfect Strangers by Leanne Moriarty. I have never read this. I feel like I've heard very mixed bag on this. I'm still curious to read it. I like her. It's like a New Yorker bookmark on page 1 in here. I have been hit or miss with her books. I either love them or I don't. I don't remember where people landed on this. So I have read, I want to say like 4 or 5 of her books. I want to go back and do a little research on this. It's like, it totally appeals to me on so many different levels. I'm also dumb about this cover, which is part of why I don't want to get rid of it. We're putting it in the research pile. Putting it in the research pile. Okay, Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. Absolutely want to read this. I'm not totally trying to read him to zero, but I am trying to read more of him, so we're keeping it. The Girl in the Red Coat by Katie Hamer. Somebody recommended this somewhere and influenced me, because I don't even know what this is. I feel like this could be an Abby book. This is also absolutely thrifted. Like, I can tell it's got somebody else's name in the front of it. So, her dreamy 8-year-old daughter who has a tendency to wander off. And then she does. So a missing daughter. It's like Room, which doesn't appeal to me. All right, I'm going to do a quick research on this when we get to the end of the shelves, but I feel like this one could probably go. This is the case of like, I didn't even know these books existed, so not great. Okay, We Ride Upon Sticks. I absolutely still want to read this one. We are outside Boston. I want to say we're in the 80s, 1989. It's in Danvers, where the Salem witch trials were. I definitely want to read this one. So we're keeping this. This is why they need to be front and center, because when they're in the back row, I forget they exist. Okay, The Disinvited Guest by Carol Goodman. I have been hit or miss with Carol Goodman books. 7 Friends, One Remote Island, A History of Foul Play, but this is like my kind of book. Family's Private Island, there's a map inside. Family Secrets. This kind of sounds like the Kate Ellis Marshall book that I read, which was kind of like a Hannah Morrissey book. Island's Dark History. Accidents Turn Deadly. Is the Island Haunted? Or is someone taking revenge? Okay, this is another one that needs some research. This is a research-heavy shelf. Okay, let's start with the easy ones. Never ever getting rid of anything Riley Sager. I own 2 copies of The Favorites by Lane Fargo. This is by far one of my most favorite books of 2025, and I'm not sorry to have 2 editions of it. This one is ridiculously stunning. And PSA, if you have not already read The Favorites by Lane Fargo, what are you doing? This book is fantastic. Read it immediately. Life-changing. Suburban Hell. What's a Little Demonic Possession Amongst Friends? Somebody recommended this and I bought it and I haven't read it. Chicago Cul-de-sac is about to get a new neighbor of the demonic kind. Samantha Downing blurbed it and so did Rachel Harrison. I'm so influenced. It's not even a long book. 300 pages, 320 pages. I think I'll hold on to this for spooky season. Again, not a seasonal reader, but kind of a seasonal reader. I will read like creepy books all year round. I'm gonna wait. All right, Death of a Bookseller. Absolutely want to read it, need to read it. What am I doing? What are you doing? What am I doing? Home Before Dark, Riley Sager, not going anywhere. This is another spooky season one, Curse of the Reaper. I bought this, I want to say 2 years ago, because Abby from Crime by the Book said to. And it's Scream meets The Shining. Right up my alley. It's a perfect spooky season book, and we're going to hold on to it for this year's spooky season. So, not a seasonal reader, kind of a seasonal reader. No One Will Miss Me by Kat Rosenfeld. You guys have told me multiple times I need to read this book. So I read her more recent book, loved it, and just haven't gotten back to this one. This is also nice and short, so maybe I mean, I have had 8 Perfect Murders on my nightstand for like a month, you guys, which is short, and I keep saying I want to read it, and I just keep picking up other stuff. So definitely want to read that. And then You Know Her by Megan Jeanette. This was definitely a guaranteed reads book, and I picked it up. So Killing Eve meets Sharp Objects. Yep. The Damage by Caitlin Warrer. The way I was desperate to read this book, Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library bought this for me on like a Facebook Book of the Month swap situation 3 years ago, maybe. Sorry, Lindsay. Came out in 2021. I feel like she bought this for me in 2022, and I still want to read it. I don't know if it takes place in the autumn, but it looks like it does. Keeping it. Killers of a Certain Age. Absolutely still need to read this one. This one was gifted to me by one of my subscribers. What am I doing? If anybody knows from Scream, what am I doing? I'm not going to pick my nose, but how Sydney's screaming, what am I doing? Okay, I Did It For You by Amy Engel. A murdered girl, a convicted killer, was justice served. Wheelhouse, I'm guessing past and present timelines. What really happened the night her sister was murdered. It's been 14 years. And then The Golden Spoon by Jessa Maxwell. I read her second book, which I always forget the name of. It's in the other room. So I do still want to read this. I want to say I got this from Pango, and it had this stuff inside of it. I don't remember. Both of her books I think I got on Pango, but I would still like to read this one. So we're going to hold on to it for now and see what happens. So more of like a cozy-ish mystery. Okay, second tier books that we don't even know exist. The Dare by Leslie Cara. She thought she had put all the questions to rest, but someone from her past wants answers. My gut says no. We're gonna look it up. Unsticky, How Far Would You Go to Get the Life You Want? I don't know who recommended this book. She's big. She's huge. What's it even about? Money Makes the World Go Round. That's what 20-something Grace Reeves is learning. Stuck in the grind where everyone else is ahead of her. She's under pressure, wealthy art dealer. She's thrown into a world of money and privilege. I do love rich people behaving badly. High fashion, high art, high expectations. This is Pretty Woman for the 21st Century. I don't know where this came from. 561 pages. Not like where did I buy it, but like where this came on my radar. I have like an overwhelming sense of guilt about getting rid of this for no reason. I don't know. Let me look it up. I need to get past the guilt of like spent money on it. Don't want to get rid of it. Okay, House on Fire by Bonnie Kistler. She's written a bunch of stuff. What did she write that made me want to read her? I feel like there's more of her books back here. Could you forgive your daughter's killer even if he was your son? Woof. Woof, woof, woof. Divorce lawyer. Second marriage. Oh, all right. Peter's son Kip. So it's like a second marriage. So stepson. Crashed his truck, drunk driving, and her daughter was with him. So I don't know. I feel like I want to look this one up. Little Threats by Emily Schultz. I have had this book forever and talked about it forever, how I'm going to read it. Also, the back cover is peeling, which really is annoying. What is happening here? Like if I peel it off, the whole thing is going to fall apart. It's not like it's like a library book cover on it. Past and Present Timeline, Summer of 1993, Twin Sisters, 2008. Keeping it for now. And then Behind the Red Door, Megan Collins. I want to read all the Megan Collins. I have read none of Megan Collins. You Can't Trust Your Memories. Missing Woman from Maine. Gonna keep it. Gonna keep it. All right. Please See Us by Caitlin Mullen. Absolutely want to read this. This is absolutely a guaranteed reads. I feel like Garen Kate did a podcast of like missing girls books, and I bought all of them because this shelf has a lot of things that are very similar, and I think that's what it is. Okay. Then I have Sunstorm. This is by Asa Larsson. This is translated from Sweden. Best first crime novel. In a land of silence and snow, the killing has begun. Yikes. Richly atmospheric. I'm going to look this up. Trying not to waste all of your time. All right, The Doll Maker. I secondhand bought this So creepy. This is definitely a serial killer book. Yeah, it's got like a public library thing on the top of it. Somebody somewhere, I mean, it also has a library thing on the front of it. Somebody somewhere recommended this book. It's from Oregon. Man, how that state is going to haunt me. So we've got detectives returning to the streets of Philadelphia to put an end to a macabre succession of murders. I feel like this was Ragdoll-esque. Remember when I was obsessed with that book? I still am. It's fantastic. I still own it. But I feel like this is kind of like from that time. Don't mind me pulling on my pants here. So we've got, young victims posed as painted swings. I don't know, delicate porcelain dolls. We're going to keep this for when I feel like freaking myself out. Did I have a nightmare the other night that somebody broke in? Absolutely. Do I still keep reading the scary books? Absolutely. Okay, Replacement Wife by Darby Kane. You guys know I met her at, well, maybe you know, maybe you don't. Met her at Thriller Fest, went to one of her sessions. She's absolutely amazing. I just bought her new book. So I want to continue to read her books. This is How Many Wives and Girlfriends Need to Disappear Before Your Family Notices. I love her. She is fantastic. This needs to get a more prominent place on my shelf. See? It's in the second tier and I'm not seeing it. All right, The Prized Girl by Amy K. Green. A murdered pageant queen, an obsessive fan in a small town with buried secrets. This reminded me of Nancy Drew, keeping it. And then Pretty Little Wife by Darby Kane. I've read it and I'm going to keep it. That's the dust flying. This is not a successful shelf. Okay, special editions of Vicious and Vengeful. Absolutely keeping them. Ethan Hawke, the hottest state. So if you were here for part one of, I was going to say a book tour, part one of Book UNHAUL, A Bright Ray of Darkness, where I had talked about how I have purchased books, unhauled them, and repurchased them. I absolutely unhauled this book, and I repurchased it a few years ago. Look at how little he is. Look at how young he is. And I didn't realize this was actually turned into a movie, which I stumbled upon the fact that it was a movie not that long ago. So I kind of want to read it and watch it. He wrote and he wrote it and stars in it, directed and stars in it. It's all, I feel like directed and starred in it. Anyway, we'll find out, but I'm an Ethan stan. Okay, We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang, one of my all-time favorite books. Love it immensely. Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. Love it immensely. At least I've read a lot of these. All right, Dave Grohl. Hate that you cheated on your wife, dude, but really enjoyed this book. I'm going to put that in my bedroom. I have a shelf of, it used to be a nonfiction shelf, and now it's nonfiction and a whole bunch of other crap, but I'm going to put that in there to try and keep my nonfictions together. Vanishing Season by Joanna Schaafhausen. You guys know I'm obsessed with this series. If you guys have been here for a long time, no one was more surprised than me that I was absolutely obsessed with Lore by Alexandra Bracken. And then one book that I haven't read, The Whispers by Alex North, which I think could be a great spooky season book. I need to make a video of spooky season books that I own and haven't read yet. How does that sound? How does that sound? That was not a successful shelf. Dang it. But how are we measuring success? Okay, I did a little off-camera research and I am going to get rid of 6 books. So the lookalike, and I would say partially this was just like, I didn't even remember I had these books. Some of it, the reviews weren't great. And, you know, whatever, multiple reasons. I'm going to let go of 9 Perfect Strangers. It kills me to get rid of this cover, which is not a reason to keep a book. And I honestly think if I ever do wind up reading it, I'll probably listen to it. That's going to go. House on Fire by Bonnie Kistler. Kind of a mixed bag of reviews on this one, but I feel like it's like a little bit more family-ish. No, I shouldn't even say. Anyway, it just did not appeal. Did not appeal when I was reading about it. Girl in the Red Coat, I'm going to let it go. Didn't even know I had it. Didn't know what it was about. This one, so, I mean, it's like Swedish, Nordic noir. They can be pretty violent. I read a review, I think it was on Kirkus, which describes the initial murder scene on this, which basically made me want to gag, and it's fine. I have plenty of other books with gag-inducing ones. And then Disinvited Guest. This is like what if another panorama happened and everybody had to escape in quarantine, and I just don't need to read it. I didn't realize that was what it was about. I thought it was just like an isolated group of friends doing messed up stuff, but I don't need another panorama book. So 6 are gonna go. And then I'm gonna keep The Dare by Leslie Cara. It's short, it got some good reviews. I think this might be popcorn thrillery fun. And then most surprising of all, Unsticky had some die-hard 5-star reviews of people just loving it. So now I'm even more intrigued. It definitely is gonna, again, it's gonna be a mood. Print is tiny. There's 500 pages in this, but no, 600 pages. This book is not. 555 plus 560. Anyway, this is a lot of book, but I'm gonna keep these two. So I put the books back. I'm gonna try to put books I haven't read on the front lines. So I moved my Samantha Downings that I read to the back. So I'm gonna put this here, and then let me grab 6 books to add to the shelf from my pile. So this isn't exactly a cheat, but I just finished reading, like in the last week, Mysterious Case of the Missing Crime Writer and the Marigold Cottage Murder Collective. So I need to do reviews on these, and I need to film my review video, but once I do, I'm gonna put those like behind since I've already read them. So that's 2. And then Patricia Cornwell, this was an arc I got at Thriller Fest. This is book Kajillion and 10 in this series, so it's a long time before I'm gonna read this one. So She Can Live on the back. And then I have Kill Your Darlings, You Know What You Did by Katie Nguyen, and then Our Last Resort by Clemence Michelon are all gonna get a spot here. So I'm like, only books that I've read in the back shelf. Sorry guys. And then I'll also probably reserve, there's room behind that I can put the Julie Clark Ghostwriter book, which just the cover was sticking here, but I'll put that back there too. And then these 2 will go back there. So grand total, so 6 today, 9 before, that is 15 books so far. So this worked out better than I thought. So I think the key, learning as we go, is if there's an immediate unhaul, immediate want to keep, and then anything I'm questioning, and then look it up and find out because of the wonderful things she does. I don't know. Just making it up as I go along here. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you're enjoying this series, and hopefully I will see you back for part 4, and hopefully I will see you back for other videos as well, because we do all sorts of videos here. So until next time, thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys watching, appreciate you guys being here, and I will see you guys really soon. Bye everybody.